Kazakhstan's president addresses the nation and says that he's given the order to fire without warning. He also thanked President Putin for sending Russian troops. There'd been no sign of demonstrators on Friday, although occasional shots can still be heard. The Australian government rejects claims that Novak Djokovic is being held captive after the tennis star was denied entry for failing to meet COVID vaccination requirements. He's taken to social media to thank people for their continued support. A second player, Czech Renata Voracova, has also had her visa cancelled and is being held at the same hotel as Djokovic. The Czech foreign minister has lodged a formal protest. And a study finds that the number of adults suffering from dementia worldwide could nearly triple by the middle of the century. The research was published in the British medical journal, The Lancet.
In Kazakhstan, President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev says on national television that he has given security forces permission to shoot and kill protesters. In Myanmar, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen meets with the country's top military leader, General Min Aung Hlaing, to discuss a peace plan supported by Southeast Asian nations. In Sudan, medical workers say security forces killed 3 protesters Thursday in cities near the capital Khartoum as unrest continues. And Japan approves new measures in the Okinawa, Yamaguchi, and Hiroshima areas to limit the spread of the coronavirus.
South Korea's defense ministry says the North's claim that it successfully launched a hypersonic missile this week is exaggerated. The ministry announced the results of an initial analysis of Wednesday's launch on Friday. It found that the missile flew less than the 700 kilometers claimed by the North. The study says the missile did exceed 5 times the speed of sound, which is considered hypersonic, but did not maintain this level for the duration of its flight. The Defense Ministry also says the missile did not demonstrate the lateral maneuverability that Pyongyang had claimed. The study says it's likely the missile was actually a model first unveiled at a military exhibition in October. It adds that South Korea and the United States have the capabilities needed to detect and intercept this variety. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council is planning to hold an emergency meeting next week to discuss North Korea's latest missile launch. UN diplomatic sources said 5 countries, including the United States, Britain, and France, requested the meeting. The sources said arrangements are being made to convene it on Monday. The Security Council held emergency meetings when North Korea launched missiles in September and October last year. Western nations asked the Council to issue a statement condemning the launches, but China and Russia objected. The 2 countries are calling for the lifting of sanctions against North Korea, highlighting the differences in their stances with Western countries. Observers say the Security Council may once again be unable to present a united front against North Korea. Foreign and defense chiefs from Japan and the United States have pledged to work together on pressing regional security issues. The online talks came at what all agreed was a critical point as China and North Korea grow more assertive.
Our alliance has never been more crucial to realizing a shared vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific.
It's more important than ever for Japan and the United States, which share strategic interests and universal values, to provide leadership together.
The group issued a joint statement from the 2+2 talks outlining shared challenges. These include China's increasing maritime activities and maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. The group also discussed North Korea's weapons program. Japan pledged to consider all possible options for national defense, including ways to protect against missile threats. Japan and the U.S. also agreed to conduct a joint analysis on countering hypersonic technology. The Japan side used the talks to touch on concerns over COVID outbreaks on U.S. bases. It repeated a request for the U.S. to step up antivirus measures, including restrictions on visits by base personnel to surrounding communities. The U.S. said it'll do everything it can. U.S. forces in Japan say as of Thursday, nearly 1,800 people at bases across the country were in isolation after testing positive for the coronavirus. Japan is imposing stricter coronavirus measures in response to a spike in cases. The government has announced a quasi-emergency in 3 prefectures where the virus is rapidly spreading.
We've decided to apply this intensive measure to curb the spread of infection in Hiroshima, Yamaguchi, and Okinawa prefectures. It will be in place from January 9th to January 31st.
The move means governors in the 3 prefectures can impose targeted measures in areas where there are outbreaks. It's aimed at ensuring the medical system is not overwhelmed. Local officials will be able to ask bars and restaurants to take stricter precautions. That could mean stopping alcohol sales, closing early, or limiting the number of customers. Okinawa reported more than 1,400 new cases on Friday, setting a record for the second day in a row. The tally does not include more than 250 new infections reported by U.S. military bases in the prefecture. Officials in Yamaguchi have likewise seen a spike in on-base cases, followed by increasing infections in the city that hosts it. The mayor has suggested the highly transmissible Omicron variant is spilling out of the U.S. base. Cases are also now rising sharply in neighboring Hiroshima prefecture. Across the country, authorities confirmed more than 6,000 new infections for the first time in over 3 months. 922 of them are in Tokyo. The capital's daily tally has jumped 12-fold in just 1 week. Health experts estimate that infections in Tokyo, Osaka, and Okinawa prefectures are doubling in less than 2 days. They attribute the rapid pace of increase to the spread of Omicron. India reported over 117,000 new COVID cases on Friday. This is the first time since last June that the daily tally has topped 100,000. In the capital of New Delhi, a weekend curfew will begin Friday night. Many states have imposed nighttime curfews. A major event to attract foreign investment has been postponed. After an outbreak in May that saw daily cases surpass 400,000, the number fell below 10,000 in late December. But since the end of December, infections have been rapidly spreading in Mumbai and New Delhi. The country has confirmed about 3,000 Omicron cases. Officials are accelerating a vaccine rollout. The minimum vaccination age has been lowered from 18 to 15. Medical workers will start getting booster shots as soon as next week. Health authorities in the Chinese city of Xi'an have apologized after a pregnant woman miscarried when she was denied medical care for not having a negative coronavirus test result. The incident occurred amid a lockdown that's been in place in the city since December 23rd. More than 1,900 people have tested positive out of a population of 13 million. Local media say the woman was 8 months pregnant. She reportedly developed pain in her abdomen and visited a hospital on January 1st. But staff made her wait outside for 2 hours. She's said to have started bleeding and lost her baby. Xi'an's top health official acknowledged on Thursday that the hospital's response to the woman's condition was inadequate. That came after a person who claimed to be her relative described the ordeal on social media, sparking criticism of the hospital. A Chinese vice premier instructed medical institutions to accept patients who need medical care, whether or not they have negative test results. Kazakhstan's president says he's ordered his troops to fire without warning on anti-government protesters. This comes amid violent clashes in the country that have left dozens dead. The protests erupted earlier this month after fuel prices shot up. The government says the demonstrations are acts of terrorism and has deployed security forces in response. The Interior Ministry says 26 protesters and 18 security officers have been killed so far. More than 3,000 people have been detained. President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev said in a televised address on Friday that his troops would use lethal force against those who continue to take part in the protests.
We are carrying out a counterterrorism operation. The militants have not laid down their arms. They continue to commit crimes. We will fight them to the end. Those who do not surrender will be eliminated.
He said earlier on Friday that order had been mainly restored across the country with the help of troops deployed by a Russia-led military alliance made up of 6 former Soviet nations. Tokayev has also received a show of support from Beijing. Chinese state-run media says President Xi Jinping sent Tokayev a message praising his response to the protests and offering assistance if needed. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen is in Myanmar on a 2-day visit. He's the first foreign leader to set foot in the country after the military takeover nearly a year ago. Hun Sen arrived in the capital Naypyidaw on Friday. He was welcomed by the junta-appointed foreign minister and attended a ceremony to donate medical equipment to Myanmar. Cambodia holds the rotating chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which has been leading efforts to restore peace in Myanmar. Hun Sen has been insisting on allowing Myanmar to attend ASEAN summits. However, ASEAN member nations are voicing concerns over Hun Sen's visit. Indonesian President Joko Widodo tweeted after speaking to Hun Sen earlier this week that if no progress is made, Myanmar should only be represented at a non-political level at ASEAN meetings. People in Myanmar who oppose the junta have condemned the visit as they say it'll lend legitimacy to the regime. Parts of the United States are being blasted with winter storms with frigid temperatures and heavy snow causing problems. Our meteorologist Sayaka Mori has a look at the forecast in world weather.
Hello there. The Arctic chill and heavy snow are pounding the United States. In Fargo, temperatures dropped below minus 30 degrees on Friday morning, and snow began falling in New York City on Friday early morning, and Washington, D.C. is having the second snow in a week. And also, we are seeing lots of snowfall pounding Montana. There's a blizzard warning in place. It looks like record challenging heavy rain is already affecting the western areas of the United States. Seattle could see heavy rain too, so be careful of swollen rivers if you live near the area. Now, temperatures are going to be quite low for the next 3 days in the U.S. as well as Canada. These are your morning lows. Winnipeg, minus 30 on Monday, so cover your skin to avoid frostbite. New York could see sub-zero figures, and also Minneapolis, minus 23 on Monday. Be careful of very dangerous conditions. Meanwhile, Tokyo had 10 centimeters of snow on Thursday, making the heaviest in 4 years. And Tokyo saw minus 3.5 degrees in the morning hours on Friday. That's actually the coldest temperature in 55 years for early January. And temperatures will remain below freezing in the morning hours, at least into Sunday, so be careful of slippery road conditions. Meanwhile, before we go, I want to show you this fun video coming out of Russia. More than 100 people gathered in Kazan, Russia, in order to celebrate the Festival of Snowman Thursday. This was the 4th year of the winter event. It was a bit of a challenge for the participants as temperatures reached about minus 10 degrees Celsius, making the snow dry and crumbly. The program will last till Saturday. That's it for me. Have a nice weekend.